Welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. This is Cyrus coming at you with another video. I'm trying to get that hard shadow off my face from the last video. It's a bit tough. I'm in this little Japanese style inn in Osaka, Japan. But there's no desks, there's no tables. It's a tiny little mattress flat on the ground, so I'm on a shelf. Big overhead light, have some lighting behind the computer so I don't have just pure backlighting where I look like a shadow. Hey, this is not a high budget production because of the fact I'm in new places every couple of weeks. I can't have like some cool single place where I do videos, so it's always going to be kind of funky. If you're new around here, I have to apologize about that. Someday in the future, if I decide to settle down into one place, then maybe I'll have some cool studio or something like that. Or if the channel really expands, then I will definitely find a way to make that happen. Even if I'm on the road, maybe I can get some kind of portable studio. I don't know. I'll figure something out. In this video, I want to talk about the concept of the practical benefits of understanding, believing in, which is not it's not a curse word to say believe, in life after death. So just some thoughts I had tonight about just the way that this kind of path or this subject can greatly benefit someone's life, and has benefited my life, and I think can benefit other people as well. Before we dive into this, you're watching Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, where we talk about this kind of stuff, supernatural types of things, paranormal types of subjects. And if you like this stuff, please hit that subscribe button down below, punch that blue notification bell. Like it, share it. This keeps this fledgling channel going, tells YouTube we are relevant. If YouTube doesn't see us as a relevant channel, then they stop recommending the channel to people, and then my analytics drops. And the channel then begins to die, so we don't want that to happen. So liking, subscribing, that kind of stuff helps. Thank you, by the way. To continue. So one of the biggest, in my opinion, psychological threats that anybody faces is the existential crisis. And I think this is manifested as an example in like midlife crises that we joke about in society when somebody has, turns 40 years old and buys an expensive car and starts acting kind of funny. It's an existential crisis when they begin to realize for the first time that they are mortal. And with it comes a lot of questions that are very difficult to answer, especially when you haven't prepped yourself by researching these types of things ahead of time. The existential crisis, I believe, can lead to all types of psychological conditions, not up to and including and beyond depression, crippling depression. And we see this so much in society, especially because we're told that we should be happy on materialist pursuits, that if we buy a bigger house, that's supposed to make us happy, or if we get like the dream penthouse in New York City using all that money we made, and then we go to bed in that big cold penthouse, we're supposed to be happy. Turns out the stuff that's in our mind is no better than it was when we were sleeping on a friend's couch. But at least when you were on your friend's couch, you had guacamole and bean dip in the fridge, Netflix on TV, a nice warm place to sleep, and a bunch of friends around you. And maybe just maybe you're a bit happier back then compared to when you've bought that $2 million penthouse. So that type of thing creates a lot of existential crisis in shallow materialistic Western culture. And it's difficult. It's a very, very, very difficult situation that we all have to be in because we have higher consciousness. We have the ability to think about our own existences, to think about our individualities and our relation to the rest of the universe. How is it that we exist as who we are? You can go into the very esoteric literature, and then there's theories that, well, maybe we are each our own universe. Maybe we are all a pocket universe, a fractal of God itself. But nonetheless, it does mean that we are sharing all these individual universes, that's you and me, are sharing with other universes. So we are a multiverse, and we have to learn to get along with each other, and we also have to figure out who and what we are. The afterlife fields basically alleviates, I think, probably a big chunk of these existential crises by helping to understand exactly what death is, the way that multi dimensions at work, the way the multiverse works, and what happens when we die. As I talk about on this channel, based upon all of the objective evidence, because I consider myself an objectivist, not a subjectivist, not an existentialist, an objectivist, or I would say a spiritual objectivist. If we look at the objective evidence, whether that's near-death experiences and after-death communication, and of course my own hundreds of astral projection experiences where I have in full lucid waking consciousness, have hung out with, talked to, interviewed deceased people, and also verified information on this side, I can say with clarity that when we die, we go to a different realm, a different frequency, a different wavelength, and we are shockingly similar to how we were before we died, and now in one level above this one, where it's less physical but still a physical world, and our bodies kind of hit cosmic copy and paste. So we still have our bodies, although we can begin to shape and change things in ways we could never do here, and we are free of the kind of pains of mortality and suffering that we have here, and life is a heck of a lot more fun. That's the short answer about what happens when you die. And being able to verify these things means that I no longer have existential crises to worry about. And I think personally, this has resulted in having a lower stress lifestyle, because you don't realize how these existential questions and worries burden you until you don't have them anymore. Once you don't have them anymore, there's this weird phenomenon where you can go out and do stuff and kind of just be happy doing it, you know? I'm in a kind of like a hostel in Japan, and I was hanging out with a bunch of people yesterday, and going out for food, went to some little restaurants, and I don't know, everything is just, compared to maybe how it used to be, like at this phase in my life, everything is just more fun and more engaging, and the reason for that is because of the thoughts that have left my mind, existential questions and not being able to find correct answers. So the afterlife field opens those possibilities up, and when you have less stress, when you have less things to worry about, it means a longer, more fulfilling life, and I think less of a risk of getting various diseases that are induced by stress, as well as opens up the pathway to a greater amount of self-acceptance. All of this is necessary, some kind of answer to some of these existential crises are necessary, I think, to open the doors for many of those types of things. And that's why I suggest to research the afterlife and find out about this type of stuff. There's great resources like victorzamet.com, our own afterlifetopics.com, and I have actually resources here to debunker arguments destroyed in this page, a lot of cool stuff. And of course my books, Understanding Life After Death, The Afterlife and Beyond, blah blah blah. I don't mean to just keep plugging away my own stuff, but it's a big community. If you don't like my stuff, there's a lot of other books out there, a lot of other cool stuff. There's a great book called The Afterlife is Probably Real. I believe that's what it's called. There's a big Grim Reaper with a smiley face on it. Oh, that's a good one. There's a really cool book by Leslie Kean called Surviving Death. There's a lot of really cool books that are resources about the objective evidence of the afterlife, and that's what I recommend diving into if you want to get a handle on one of the primary most existential crises that we deal with. And once you do that, it's as if you now have like a little bit of a shield in life. So things lose their severity, which is very, very good when we're in a severe world where we deal with crises and dramas and things that people bury away into their minds. Learning about the afterlife should be a tool to help learn how to have a more carefree life, to not be so badly affected by things, and to replace some of that fear and loathing with a bit of joy and indifference, because even indifference can be a very positive thing, not being affected by things that happen to you. Again, it's much easier when you have a more stable view of the universe. And this is one of the reasons I criticize lots of elements of the New Age movements, as well as elements of what I'm beginning to see as a kind of, I guess I want to say quantum convoluted messes. So a lot of authors, we get all wrapped up into multiple universes and solipsism, that nobody else really exists but you. And lots of just crazy theories, extrapolating on Schrodinger's cat, and exploring, what else, looking at something like the double slit experiment, and talking about how reality is not real, or we're all trapped in like a what is that, the theory that the world is like a projection, or what is it like? What's the official name of the theory? This is supported by a lot of people, even like Neil Tyson kind of has alluded to it. The simulation theory, right? So that the universe we're in is a simulation, and then you start getting all like Rick and Morty level convoluted with like, well, if this world is a simulation, who's the one simulating it? Are they evil aliens? Is it all this kind of crazy stuff? And people just go off and just go down that path of quantum convolution, and it doesn't lead to any kind of happiness. And that's something I like to point out. Look, maybe some people have the mind where they're really happy thinking about, okay, our universe is simulated by evil aliens or something, whatever it is. But I think the majority of people, that doesn't appeal to them. It doesn't appeal to me, because I want objective, solid answers to questions based upon experience, like what people actually experience. The afterlife topic fits into all of those concepts of multiverses and quantum anomalies and all of that when we begin looking at the universe in a way where it's non-material, consciousness takes precedent, and we kind of create the universe. We are elements of the same kind of God, I suppose. We can look at how there's multiple dimensions kind of embedded into each other, a bit like, I want to say pancakes, but pancakes have separation, more like again, wavelengths, frequencies on a radio, basically. And this stuff really, falls in line with a lot of the like complex stuff that we hear about from theoretical physics. And that's another reason that the afterlife feels great, because it helps connect a lot of these dots that are very difficult to connect otherwise. And the final picture is pretty nice. It's meet our loved ones again, and we can even potentially go to these types of places ourselves. We don't have to wait till we're dead. Heck, maybe someday we'll have diplomatic relations with the astral world, and I'm going to talk about that in a video coming up around the corner, so keep that one in mind. I think that's a really interesting concept. And so those are my thoughts for tonight. Hopefully this video was of some value to you. If you want to get involved in the work we do at Afterlife Topics, and I do say we because there's lots of contributors, we have lots of administrators at the group, we have group discussions and events and things planned around the corner, and there's a lot of people who make Afterlife Topics into what it is. If you want to get involved, then you can go to the site and click where it says up here, join the Facebook group. Again, I have my books, which are a great way to find out kind of in summary about the objective evidence of the afterlife. My first book, it's like a couple bucks on, like $4 on Kindle. And of course we have Afterlife University. If you want to actually support the channel, become a subscriber and have access to dozens and dozens of very in-depth classes that you can watch as an archive, and then participate twice weekly in really in-depth discussions, then you can become a subscriber at afterlifetopics.com. /university. Trying to load that up right now. Here we are. And yeah, I guess that's it for this video. Thanks for coming by, and I'll have some more videos up soon. And once I have a moment to do so, might be a couple days. I'm going to Kyoto soon, and I'm probably going to be busy all day. So could be a couple days for my next video. We'll see. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys next time.